君が旅立つ日はいつもと同じじゃねと出る歌まるで明日もまたこの街で会うみたいに
How do you know that song?
That is one of Mariel's favorite songs from Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
the
like
Brotherhood or
I don't remember. It was an outro or some shit like that. But she played it so much, I actually memorized the first verse. I have no idea what that whole shit means, but I memorized it to the point where I could sing it again. One more time. 君が旅立つ日はいつもと同じじゃねと出る歌 So today we have the blue-haired, the illustrious, blue rotten apple.
That's me.
The Ching Chong princess, Julia Ching Chong Chow. Yay.
Wow, I didn't actually expect to like start so soon.
Yeah, well, you know, we're just getting people in here, and this is going to be a very interesting podcast. You did Bart and Gio's podcast, right?
I did, but Bart wasn't there because he was too busy.
Oh, it was just Gio?
Yeah, it was just me and Gio.
Oh, what the fuck? Well, what'd they ask you? Because I don't want to ask the same fucking questions.
I don't know. I think it was just a lot of things like how I've been doing my goals of. The goals I achieved in 2018.
That's
and then they were trying to get information about me and my boyfriend's love story, but I can't say here either because my boyfriend has something in mind that he wants to do, so he wants to review.
Fuck your guys' love story. Who the fuck cares about that?
A lot of people do, David.
Okay, I don't give a fuck about that love story.
Dude, did you see the post of a picture of us in high school and then a picture of us recently?
Oh, that's right. You guys went to high school together.
Yeah. So like, hold on. Let me show you. I think it was something that my boyfriend.
Wait, you guys knew each other since what, freshman year?
No, I've known him. Well, he says elementary school, but I don't remember anything of that.
That's fucking funny. He's like, you know what? I've been in love with you since the fucking first grade, and you're like, who are you?
Yeah, and then I remembered him in middle school because I thought he was really annoying.
But look at that, guys. Persistence is key. He only had to wait like 29 years. And then, wow, look.
That's us freshmen in high school. And then that's, I think, 20.
Dude, that's so fucking wild.
Yeah, right?
Dude, Julia, look at you. Why are you so fucking dark?
Because I was a cross-country runner and I did track and field.
That's right. You look mesquite as fuck.
Yeah.
What is going on with his hair?
It was that time when anime was like really hot.
I don't give a fuck how hot anime was. My God, dude. It looks like he got into a fight with the weed whacker and lost.
Dude, it looked better in person, all right? In this photo, I don't think it does justice.
Yeah, in person, it would have been worse, for sure. Just because I knew a lot of people with that hair. I'm not saying I was any better.
Yeah.
And we all looked like trash back in the day. So that's not just like his thing. Everybody had like that weird hair. And
right.
When I was in junior high, I remember everybody was doing the blonde hair, the fucking tall spikes.
Yeah.
People used to have like 8-inch spikes to their hair.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, what I did was I shaved my head and I used to keep the bangs in the fucking front.
That's what my cousin did.
Yo, fucking Vietnamese gang banger, son.
Dude, that's what my cousin did, and he bleached it too.
Yeah, I didn't do all that.
And then he would try to
but...
like spike it up.
Yeah, dude, we did we used to do some shit. I'm not sure if y'all remember this, but there's something. Everybody used to get undercuts. So you would grow out your hair and then you would shave it all the way, like the first like layer close to your skin, and it would be an undercut. So if you lifted it up, it'd be shaved.
Yeah.
And that was like the hot shit to do. The spiky hair, the ice tips and shit. We looked so fucking dumb. Our parents called us stupid, and they were right. They were right from the jump. We looked so stupid, dude. I remember I dyed or I bleached my hair to like a sandy brown.
Yeah.
So I just looked like a fucking like fat lesbian.
Oh my God.
I thought it was so fucking cute, dude. I thought it was so cute. My fucking...
I think the one look I don't miss from the 90s is that wet look, like that hard gel look.
Oh, dude, everybody had what was it? The LA looks.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
So everybody used to get this gel called LA looks. I'm not sure if that company's still around. They probably are. But that shit was thick as fuck. And then that's how they would spike their hair. So they would take the LA looks and they would do the individual spikes.
Yeah.
They would blow dry that shit and then hairspray it. So it was so funny because dudes, just because like masculinity, I think back in the day it was just all about, like guys don't do fucking shit like that. But it was so funny because they would make fun of girls for taking their time. But if you saw a Vietnamese dude with hair, like spiked hair, you should see how long it took him to get his fucking hair ready. Like my friends, they would, every time we would try to go out somewhere, they're like, oh, when are we going to go out? I need like an hour to do my hair.
Yeah.
Like how dare you make fun of other people for that shit, dude? You take an hour to do your spikes, you little bitch. Oh, God.
Wow. I don't think I've spent a lot of time on my hair until maybe sometime after college. Like, I don't know.
I feel like you just didn't wear any makeup at all during high school.
No makeup in high school. And then even in the beginning of college, I didn't really wear any. I just started to
Really?
I started to practice with it in my last year of college because then I figured that I should start wearing makeup for work.
Really? You're a super late bloomer. Was it because
Yeah.
your parents were against it or you just didn't care?
I just didn't care. I just didn't care. I was too lazy and I was just like, man, no way am I gonna wake up 10, 20 minutes early just to get ready when I can just get ready in 5 minutes. I was like, that's precious sleeping time.
So do you like doing makeup now? Like it's fun?
Yeah, makeup's fun.
Because it's like painting.
Yeah,
Makeup is fucking hard too, by the way.
it is hard.
It is one of the hardest things I've ever tried doing.
I fucking love it though. It's so fun. But like, I don't know. I think recently I've been buying a lot of makeup that I don't need.
But I feel like that's what all girls do, right?
Yeah.
But guys have an equivalent of that, whatever hobby that they're in. But it's like you get one thing and then it's good for now, but then you want to try something new, and then you go back and you're like, maybe it'll go well with this, and you try it again, and then you like it, but there might be something better out there. Because I feel like a lot of girls do that with like lashes, right? So they find lashes that they like, and then there's something they don't like about it, so they try a different lash and another lash.
Oh.
Yeah, but a lot of people have been doing what do you call those lash extensions?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I'm too scared to do them. But I know people around us have done them before.
What are you so scared about?
I don't know. Just like, cause like they sew it on or something, right? Or is it glue? Do they glue it on?
I actually don't know anything about lash. That's like some new shit, dude. So I don't know. Like my knowledge of like cosmetics is just, it's like from like 10 years ago when I used to work at the beauty supply store. So I don't know anything new.
So I'm not quite sure if it's something that they like sew on or like they weave on, or if it's like a glue that like stays there. But I don't know. The idea of that just kind of really scares me.
Because Gina does it and it looks great.
Yeah. Looks amazing on her. Same with Christina. She does that too.
Oh yeah. And they also did the microblading.
Yeah, that's a new thing too.
It's so interesting because like microblading sounds like hair's being sewn in, but it's literally tattooing.
Yeah,
it's just it's gashes, and then within those gashes they put in ink to fill out whatever. So those gashes look like strands of hair, and it's supposed to. I'm not sure. Doesn't that fucking hurt?
From what I was told, it doesn't hurt very much. But I know that like microblading is more of like the fine-tuned of like tattoo brows, because I've seen people with tattoo brows and they're like really thick, and it's thin but it's a very bold line.
Yeah,
you can tell that they don't have like eyebrow hairs. But with microblading, it just seems so natural because it's like feathery and it does every stroke of your hair in there.
And it's supposed to work with the hair that you already have, so it just kind of fills in those gaps.
Yeah, but from what I heard, it doesn't hurt. I think they numb you, and then I think it's just, it feels like it scratches.
There's so much.
I'm not too sure. I'm too scared to do those things.
There's so much maintenance in being a girl. Like I it's so unreal. And like I was talking about this recently too, and I don't know how like I feel about this. Is like one of those things that I'm always a little bit weird about, because I feel when I'm on Twitter and I'm on like social media, there has been this huge push. So the original push and the original idea that people had when it came to beauty was that I felt a lot of people were telling like girls or young guys or whatever that you should be happy with the way that you are, and if there are things that you want to change, you can, and just you just learn to love yourself. And now it's like, well, the opposite of that now is, and this is like seems to be the more popular thing is, well, if you have the money to do it, why don't you just change your face?
Wow.
Like fillers. Like how many fucking girls do we know that use fillers on their face? Like they're just not happy with the way that they look. They want to go, they put like the fillers in their lips here and there. And I don't know. Like I don't know how to feel about that, because on one hand, what they're saying is that you have one life to live, and if it makes you happy, why not do it? Because it doesn't affect other people, right? Like you're just doing it to yourself. So why should you care so much? 100%. Like I do agree with that. But the other side of it is, when does it end? Like you're going to age. Like things are going to happen to your face, right? And for me, how I see it is that you're really trying to fix a problem that's never going to be fixed. Because you fix one thing, you're going to want to fix it again. You're going to want to fix it again. And you're just never going to be satisfied. And I know it seems like a blanket statement that I'm saying, but I've seen it happen so often where they change one thing and they go, oh, I love it. It's perfect. And then they age like 4 or 5 years. The face starts to droop. And like, nope, I got to put some Botox here. Okay, cool. Then they start fucking with their nose. Like everything starts to change constantly. And then the issue that I have once again is that when does it stop?
Right.
So instead of like teaching the idea that you are beautiful, you know, this is who you are, and there are people who are going to love you for what you look like and who you are as a person, you know, why do we always have to look at outside factors for somebody to change what we were already born with? That's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with the way that you look. And a lot of the times, a lot of these like social media girls who I think are fucking venomous snakes because they're trying to put out this movement. Yo, they are. Because they're trying to put out this movement, right? That, oh, like, girls, do you know, you're fucking beautiful the way you are.
Yeah.
But you got 7 lip injections, you got fucking fillers all over your face, and you got a fake ass. So what the fuck are you talking about? You clearly didn't love yourself enough to keep yourself the way that you are, right? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on that as a girl. That's how I see it as a guy.
So here's the thing. Like, I feel like I'm very conflicted with it because
me too.
A part of me feels like I've been fortunate with nice genes in a way because a lot of people tell me that I'm pretty, right? Even though there are days where I don't feel like I'm pretty or like there's things about me where I don't think I'm pretty, but a lot of people say that I was like, oh, you're pretty, you have nothing to worry about. So then like all of a sudden I feel like I'm classified into this area where I somewhat don't identify with, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard for me to say and have much of an opinion on it because I just feel like it's difficult because whatever I say, it's going to be taken the wrong way, or it's just like, well, you're fortunate because you look the way you look. And I'm just like, okay, sure.
And, you know, arguably too, though, the people that I know that are, that want to do these changes, and I don't know them on a personal level, right? But it's just girls that I've seen online. Yeah. And I see their before and after. I'm like, you were beautiful before. What the fuck was the difference?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not even the girls that from what I've seen that like maybe like like on the outside, they're just not as pretty. Yeah. Like I feel like they cope with it and deal with it more. It's just, there's a lot of women who predicate their identity on what they look like rather than who they are. Right. And this goes for a lot of guys too, because I'm now seeing guys that are trying to do the whole cosmetic surgery thing too. So it just, if you predicate everything on this is what I look like and this is how people will perceive me, and people say this bullshit too, which kind of annoys me. It's like, well, I'm just doing it for my fucking self. Well, if you're doing it for your fucking self, then why is it that you're putting up 10,000 selfies showing everybody else, and then you're looking for those likes? So there's a little dishonesty about that. Yeah, you did do it for yourself to a certain extent, but it's not just for you. Yeah. It's so somebody else can tell you that you're beautiful because you're used to those compliments, and you want to keep receiving those compliments about your looks because that's what you based your whole fucking life on. You know? And so when I see that, I'm just kind of like, it's always the people who I feel like sometimes it's just you're perfectly fine the way that you are, and you're just being hypercritical about the way that you look because you base your value on this exterior thing that's going to change anyways. We're all going to die. We're all going to fucking look like shit. Every Asian person's going to end up looking like a turtle. Yeah, like I'm going to look like a turtle. You're going to look like a turtle.
I feel like one of the reasons why people want to make themselves look better, not only just to satisfy like what their personal insecurities are, but I think it's just fulfilling that, I guess that notion or that thought where you get away when you're pretty. Like you can get away with a lot of things when you're pretty, and
which is true.
And life is a lot easier when you're pretty, and So it's just like with that kind of notion, with that kind of thought in mind, it's like, okay, well, why not make myself pretty? Because I feel like I would live an easier life that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, and I do understand. Like, dude, like I was talking about this like on JKNews the other day, where like we see the effect that an attractive woman has on a group of guys, right? So the way guys behave when they see a really pretty girl, they start to change their demeanor a little bit. They obviously pull out the chair a little more, open the doors a bit. They talk to them a lot sweeter. They give them a lot more attention. And I saw that same effect in some guys. Like there's some dudes that are so fucking good looking. Like you see the way that women treat them too.
Yeah.
Right. So like if like, for example, like I've been to bars where I've seen really good looking dudes. They're just standing there and a girl comes and starts talking to them. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like I've never seen, that's never ever happened to me.
Right.
You know, like he's just chilling and the guy like has the option to choose whether he wants to talk to this girl or not. And so I can understand the appeal of it, right? Like I get it, you know. I just kind of like, I don't know, like I'm so weird. I'm confused because it's true. Whatever you do to your face and your body is your choice.
Right, I agree.
You know, I just don't like the message that maybe comes along with it. It's like the message is I could do to my body whatever I want. I'm not hurting anybody else. But at the same time, when it becomes like a societal norm that you could just change whatever you want, it doesn't teach you, number one, that you are beautiful the way that you are. It's teaching, to me, it's teaching the opposite. It's that you're flawed and why don't you go ahead and drop some money and change it.
Right.
And it's just like a weird business to be in. Like I don't really like that. Like I don't like if I have kids, right?
Yeah,
like if I have a daughter specifically, just because I personally believe, whether people can agree or disagree or not, that girls just have a lot of pressure to look a certain way and behave a certain way compared to dudes, right? Aside from the machismo shit that guys have, I think girls get really judged on the way that they look. I know this for the fact because even I'm at that point too, where sometimes I see a girl and I judge them by the way that they look. And I try not to, just because I'm actually not the best looking dude on earth, so I shouldn't be the one to judge. You know what I mean? I'm in tights and fucking, you know.
Right.
So, you know, like it's just kind of tough, and I wouldn't want my daughter to have to feel like she has to change things about the way that she looks all the time to feel good about herself.
Yeah, but that's tough though, because mainstream media and even marketing campaigns for things like makeup or clothes, you can't help but see like what is being projected at you as the ideal body type or as the ideal look.
Yeah.
And so it's just like when you're slammed with that every single day, you just can't help but think, okay, I'm not normal. I'm not like these girls. I don't look like these girls. So I must not be that attractive. You know, like it's the mindset that's happened. Cause like for me growing up, it was pretty much like that. Like I think in the 90s and early 2000s, I think the body type of that era was really skinny. Like you were like a stick skinny, right? And so at that time, like for me, it's like because I didn't have that type of body type, I felt really out of place and I didn't feel like I was pretty. I didn't feel like I was beautiful either.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I didn't really diet, but I did try to work out, but I never achieved that particular body type. So then I just kind of gave up on that, right? Where I was just like, well, fuck, dude, like my body can't necessarily do that. Or either that I'm very weak-willed. And I don't want to get to that point where I have to sacrifice how much I eat or what I do, right? And so I've always had this complex with my body about like, oh yeah, I don't think I really fit that. Or I was like, I see like fat building up here or whatever, or like in my thighs. Thighs are like the first place where everything goes. And so I've always had like a very self-conscious feeling about my legs. Now I don't feel it as so much anymore because I've just accepted them. And like I like them. Because they're strong and they have muscle. And so to me, it's like as long as I can lift things with my legs, I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, and you know, and to your credit, I think that's like a really good thing, and that's what I like, right? So necessarily sometimes what you dislike about yourself doesn't mean that somebody else won't like it, right?
Right.
And you know, like even like physical things that people like now, trends change all the fucking time.
They do, but then when you're just surrounded by, especially in your adolescence, you can't help but like it's so impressionable to you.
Yeah, I know. Like it's hard, man. Even like, you know, I'm not fronting either. Like when I was in high school, you know, I was always a big guy. You know, I wasn't as big as I got, you know, like a year ago. I mean, that took time. That took a lot of food to get that big, you know. But even then, like, you know, I was like 200. And I think I'm this weight now than I was in high school. And even then, when in high school, I felt like I was a fucking really fat fucking guy.
Yeah.
You know, because I lost a certain amount of weight towards my senior year, and I was around like 205 pounds, 210, which is what I weigh right now. And during that time too, I remember I felt fat. And I think like for me too, I used to I made jokes about it a lot, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the reason why I made jokes about my weight a lot was because if I could joke about myself and I can make fun of myself first before you get to, you don't really have any power on me, right? So the joke's already on me. I already know what the jokes are. I already know what you're going to say. And I kind of made humor out of it, right? And so for me, humor was a way for me to cope with either number one, how I felt about my weight, number two, how I looked, and also how other people were going to perceive me, right? So if I can make people laugh out of something that's a negative attribute, then it's really my strength, right? Like you can't take something from me that I don't really care about as much. And so I started identifying myself as a fat guy, right? And it just became very comfortable for me. Like I couldn't even picture myself thin. Like I didn't know like what the fuck is a skinny David, you know? And even when I did get like pretty fit, I got a little more muscular during my second year of college. It just didn't really, you know, feel that way. Even when I lost the weight now, like I look into the mirror and I still see the same guy that I was 60 pounds ago.
Wow.
You know, not in the sense that I hated it. It's just more like I don't think I'm thin. You know, I don't like. I'm just like it's just still David because I still liked myself then and I still love myself now.
Right.
It's just now physically I just feel better.
Damn.
Right. So the only way I could see the difference was when I would see you. I would see some, and they're like, "Yo, what the fuck? You look hella different."
I know every freaking week, dude. Every fucking week I see you, I'm just like, dude, David, you're a new person.
Yeah. And so like Mariel too. Mariel's so fucking funny. Every time she sees me, till this day, like even after I've lost this weight, she just gives me a hug and she goes, "I could touch my fingers now." like you fucking bitch. All right, thank you. She goes, "Look, see, I can link my fingers. Look at this. I can hug you now." I was like, "Well, you've said that about 1,000 times. I don't know if this is a compliment now or you're trying to hurt my fucking feelings." She's so funny, dude. You know. Yeah, but you know,
I love Mario.
You know, but to that point, like, what I'm saying is that, you know, I learned to, I don't want to say cope, but I've learned to deal with it in a way that, I guess it's kind of like I dealt with it mentally first before physically.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like
I mean that's how it starts.
Yeah.
That's how it starts.
It's hard, man. Like when you're in high school and you're a teenager and you see what other people have that you want, and if it's based on looks, sometimes it feels so unattainable. You know, I mean, why else do people work out in high school that aren't in sports? They want to look buff because they want to look good when they take their shirts off, and they want somebody to be like, "Oh, you look fucking good," which is not a bad thing. You know, it's just such a hard standard to hold up.
Damn, I just did sports because I didn't want to be out of shape.
That's different too. You also look. You possibly could have had a dick too.
Thanks. You know, a lot of people in high school thought that I was a lesbian, even though I had long hair and like I guess I wore pants all the time. But not a lot of girls wear skirts or dresses at my school. But
yeah, I feel like
even in college too, a lot of people thought I was a lesbian.
I mean, you have a very weeb-like sense to you. You know what I mean? So you guys don't know what a weeb is. It's like it's like people. What would you describe a weeb like? Or like an otaku type of thing, you know what I mean?
It's just I guess like someone who is
super into like of Korean or Japanese culture or something.
Yeah. Well, if you're going into Korean, there's a different term for that. I totally forgot.
I think it's weeaboo, isn't it?
No, I think weeaboo is still
otaku is Japanese, isn't it?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think weeaboo is Korean or something like that. I don't even know how that term came up, but yeah. I mean, but you when I first met you though, you dressed a lot more girly.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, when you were with Tommy, you dressed a lot girlier. You had long hair. You dressed a little more feminine.
But I still had button-ups and stuff too.
Yeah, but you had a more feminine style to you. And then later, after you guys broke up, I remember you were hanging out a lot more with your roommate friend.
Yeah.
And then you guys started dressing more similar. Then you started going a little more lesbian again. And then you went from lesbian to like weeaboo. So you went through like 3 different changes. You went from girly to like scary biker lesbian, and then from scary biker lesbian you went back to like just normal. I think like how you're comfortable with.
Damn, that's so strange because I knew that I had different clothing phases, but I've always felt that my tastes have always been somewhat the same, or at least how I dressed. then with long hair versus when I dressed with my short hair, it was exactly the same clothes. But then people just called me is it butch?
Butch. You look butch as fuck, dude.
Yeah. Like, but it was like, if you saw a picture way back with me with long hair and I was dating Tommy at the time, I was wearing the same exact outfit and nobody said anything.
Maybe though, because if you look at some of the videos, you did dress different.
I did, because when I was graduating college, I was like, okay, you know what, Julia? Can't cuss anymore, and you gotta clean up your act. Can't wear graphic tees anymore. You gotta start wearing regular clothes. Because I was just trying to like integrate myself into the and then I got involved and I saw Joe with his freaking dog sweater and I was like, maybe graphic tees are cool. And then so I started wearing them again and I was like, yeah, okay, this is a lot better.
Yeah, well, nobody should base their fashion on what Joe wears, dude. Joe is eclectic as fuck. This fool has a sweater of a Shiba Inu on his shirt in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Yeah, but you know what though? People in JK say that I am like the little sister of Joe, so whatever I wear, it's like on a similar eclectic level as him. But he's probably more far out there than I am.
Oh, he's definitely far out there, dude. This fool has like a bunch of dirty flutes and keyboards, any kind of instrument that you would put on your mouth that he's never cleaned once in the past 6 years. He plays on JKNews, and that shit is germ infested as fuck. He does not care. If he's ever gotten a cold, it's because he played those instruments at JKNews for sure.
No, but I'm pretty sure he believes that those germs are helping him build a stronger immune system.
I love Joe, dude. Joe can make sense out of anything, dude.
Yeah.
That fool can convince me of anything in this earth, dude. He's just one of those dudes, man.
Yeah, like David, you got a cut? Here, put your hand in mud. It makes it feel better.
Yo, this fool fucking funny. When were you there when we went? Did you go with us when we went to Maui?
No.
Okay, so when we went to Maui, and Joe has eczema, right?
Yeah.
Joe cracked us the fuck up, dude. And Joe knows this shit too. I fucking love this guy. He goes, sometimes when Joe is like in love with something, right?
Yeah.
He could find the positive in anything, which is such an amazing attribute of his, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of his stuff is mind over matter.
Yeah.
So this fool's like going into these like waterfalls and these lakes, and he's like, dude, this fucking water is healing my eczema. But you could visually see his eczema is getting worse. But because he loves Hawaii so much, he's like diving into the fucking lake like he's Tarzan. He's like, God. I'm healing. I'm healing. And you see his eczema grow like bigger and bigger. But he loves Hawaii so much, it makes him feel good. It's like a placebo effect for him.
I thought the salt water was supposed to help.
I don't fucking know, dude. That dude's hilarious, man. I fucking love that guy, man. Yeah, you didn't go to Hawaii with us.
No, I didn't go to the Maui trip.
You went to Oahu.
The Hawaii trip that I went to was for Bart and Gio's wedding.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was I think that was the only time I went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least with you guys. There's another time I went to Hawaii, but it was like long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, when you went to Hawaii, you were single or you were still with Tommy?
I was still Tommy at the time.
Were we at a house? No, you went to Hawaii with us before when we were at a different house.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because it was when you swam across like a fucking jackass all across the coral reefs and you scraped up your fucking legs.
Yeah, but that was
not the wedding. That was a different time. So you went twice.
Really?
Yeah. So you went once in Hawaii, and I remember the time you went on Gio's thing because Darian took a photo of you that was super pretty.
Okay.
It was when you were wearing that dress. You had super long hair.
Right. I still had long hair at that time too.
Yeah, and then the other time you went was when you were with Tommy. Those two are separate. When Bart and Gio were married, you were not with Tommy.
No, I was.
No, you weren't, bitch. You were not.
I was.
You were fucking not.
I was.
Well, if you were, then he wasn't.
Oh my God, no.
Oh, okay. You know what?
You're making me doubt myself.
Okay, hold on.
We were together both fucking
Okay,
times.
hold on. Don't check it.
I only remember.
No, don't check it. Don't check it first. We have to talk about it.
Fine.
Okay, you might have been with Tommy with the one with Bart and Gio's wedding,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
But those are two separate times because the second time that we went with Bart and Gio,
yeah,
when Bart and Gio got married, we were in those hot ass huts. The other time that we were at Hawaii and you swam across that coral reef bullshit and you chopped up your legs was when we rented a house together with a basketball court in the driveway.
Yes.
That was two separate times.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because we stayed in that fucking plantation where Bart and Gio sweated us the fuck out.
Oh, that's right.
God damn it, dude.
That's right. That is a separate time. Yeah,
that
so I did one twice.
That was a separate time. You went twice.
Yeah.
I remember.
I did go twice.
But
but we were together both times.
Oh.
Yeah.
How come I don't remember Tommy there? He was there though, huh?
At the wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
I don't remember him there.
And then swimming across, I remember he was there too because
he didn't go with you.
Yeah, because I asked him like, if he wanted to go
Tommy.
swim, and he was like,
I'm still fucking kidding, Tommy. I'm fucking around.
I mean, I remember I asked him if he wanted to go swimming, and then he was just like, no, I just want to film. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go swim where Joe's at.
You were a savage, dude. You would swim.
Hey, but I heard Tiff did it too the other time around that I wasn't there. I think it was a Maui trip.
Probably, man. Like Tiff she's like a thrill junkie.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because not a lot of things excite her, but if something gets her adrenaline going, she really, really enjoys it. Mm-hmm. Like, which is kind of interesting. Because you have hobbies.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies? I've never asked.
Sleeping.
Bitch,
sleeping.
Sleeping is not a hobby.
Oh, fine. Honestly, like, there have been days where I would just literally just chill in bed and Nelson get really annoyed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like to call it hashtag bed life. And then he was just like, oh my God, you need to get out of this bed. And I was like, but it's so comfortable here.
You're just gonna get bed sores one day, dude.
Yeah.
You're just like but you like moving though. You were in cross country.
Yeah.
You like staying active, but there's just days that you just don't want to move at all. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. I feel like I'm gonna die.
Oh, I don't know. I just feel really tired.
Really?
Yeah.
You sleep a lot though, dude.
Kind of.
Maybe that's why you look so young. Julia's actually 42 years old.
Yeah. Fun fact, guys. The birthday on the internet is false.
False. She's 42 fucking years old. You're not 30 yet, are you?
No, I'm not.
What are you, 29?
This year I'll be 29.
Yeah. So you're 28 right now. You turn 29.
Yeah, when come March.
That's fucking time has gone by so fast, man.
Yeah.
I met you when we had the office in the
Monterey Park.
Yeah, we had that office, and that's when I first met you.
Yeah, that was when I was like 23 or 24.
Fuck. Mm-hmm. That's so fucking crazy, dude. Mm-hmm. Dude, when I first met you, I legit thought you were like a fucking 14-year-old. And I remember too, because I started cracking up to myself because I kept talking to her like she was a child.
Yeah.
So like I would talk to, okay, yeah. Like basically talk, like it wasn't condescending, but I thought you were a little kid. Uh-huh. So I didn't want to say like anything inappropriate or like joke around too much in front of you because I didn't know if you were like a super young intern.
Right.
And then I think I found out your age like a couple months after. And I was like, oh, she's an adult. I was like, thank fucking God, dude. Because I felt so weird. And then,
well, I mean, at that time too, again, I was just trying to be clean. I didn't want to have I didn't cuss at the time, and I was just trying to be a bit more professional. So that probably rubbed off of me being really young.
Yeah, I thought you were a fucking kid, dude.
Wow.
Dude, remember Lauren?
Yeah.
When I first met Lauren, I keep fucking doing this because all you fucking girls don't age whatsoever. I thought Lauren, when I first met her, was Ryan's younger sister.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so we were in Vegas, and then I was like, oh, so fucking embarrassing. Like she was an editor for JKNews, and then I literally said this to her. I was like, oh, are you here with your older brother? And she's like, how old do you think I am? I was like, isn't Ryan your older? But she goes, no, I'm an editor. I was like, because she was walking around next to him the whole time. So they're both Japanese.
Right.
So I assumed that they were related. So I thought it was like the Japanese connect.
Right.
And I was like, look at this cute little girl here in Vegas. What are you doing here, young lady? You know, and she goes, no, I'm an editor. I'm in college. I was like, college?
So funny.
It looks like she just graduated junior high and shit, dude.
Yeah. So like, I was volunteering for a nonprofit organization called Relay for Life, and I was coordinators for the volunteers one year, and there was a mom that was actually a part of the nonprofit, and she was like saying like, oh, you know what are you up to? What's new with you? And I was like, oh, I'll be graduating in May, and she's like, oh, cool. What college are you going into? And I was like, oh, I'm graduating college. And she was like, oh, you look so young. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, dude, like how young you fools look, man. Like it's interesting though, because I like even like every girl that I met in JK, I've always fucked up something. Because like Tiff, I introduced myself to her like 4 or 5 fucking times, had no idea who she was.
Yeah.
Because she changed every time she changed her braces. Then after that, she stopped wearing glasses. Then she wore makeup the other time. I was like, who the fuck is this Iranian girl? Turns out she's fucking Mexican. I had no idea.
And then with Gio, you thought that she was a man.
Yeah, because the way she talks is so fucking dude-like through text. I thought her full name was like Giovanni or some shit. And then it was this fucking tall fucking bitch of a giant.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, it's a girl. Threw me the fuck off, man.
So then, okay, so other than you thinking that I was a super young intern, well, what else was your first impression?
Nothing. I just was like, oh, she's just a young little girl. I didn't really pay much attention to you, right?
Oh, I see.
I only do that because I don't want to invest myself emotionally to people who aren't going to be around.
Right.
Right? Because it's just a lot of work on my part.
Right.
Right? And that's how the same thing was for when Tiff introduced us to Isaac when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So when I first met Isaac, I didn't really talk to him much because one of the things that I saw growing up a lot, so I have a lot of friends back from Sacramento who have kids, right? Or I'm going to say they have kids, but I've had friends who have dated women or guys who have kids and then through friendship, we become attached to that kid that they have.
Right.
And then for me, it just kind of was so fucked up that this kid starts calling you uncle, starts calling you all this other stuff.
Getting attached to you.
And then they split and they break up. So I didn't know what Casey's emotional attachment was to Isaac at that point yet.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to invest myself emotionally into this kid or to this new girl because why would I do that? It's fucked up for the kid. It's fucked up for everybody else. So I kind of kept her at an arm's length, and I also kept Isaac and I love kids too. So I really wanted to play with Isaac, and I fucking love that kid. So I was just like so weird about it, you know. Didn't really say hi to him too much. I just said hi Isaac, and I didn't really play with him. But then it was kind of rough because I was like, man, this kid's cute, you know, like he's such a good kid.
Yeah.
You know, so that you did too, and then like.
After you saw and witnessed me sticking around for many years.
Yeah, I was like, this girl's really fun, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really fun little girl, dude. Fucking snot-nosed brat, you know? Yeah, and then, you know, what's it? Yeah, when I first met you, like, I forgot, like, what it was exactly that kind of... Because you were interning at the time and you weren't working full-time for JK.
No, I wasn't, because I was still working part-time at a restaurant and at, like, a
Korean
place.
Brazilian barbecue too, right?
Yeah. I was
That's
working
what
at
it
that
was.
time. Yeah.
You were working. It was part time as a waitress.
Yeah. It was part time for them, and then I had one other job that I was doing at that time too. That was also part time, and so I was doing that and JK on top because I needed to make money.
Now I remember. Yo, Tommy, I'm gonna put you on blast real quick because this shit is so fucking funny. Oh, what happened here? Oh,
Nothing.
my bad. Yeah, so I'm gonna put you on blast real quick. So Tommy is like the funniest fucking dudes. Now you check him out. Like he's a great cinematographer. You know, he used to work for Just Kidding Films. Very fucking talented.
Yeah.
But this motherfucking dweeb, dude, cracked me the fuck up. Tommy, I'm gonna get you on this shit too, just so you could explain your fucking self. So when Julia worked for JK Films at the time and she was an intern, nobody knew she was a fucking intern at all. It was so fucking funny. And so, like, what was told to me at the time was that, he got you as an intern, right?
Yeah.
He got you as an intern without telling Bart and Joe that you were being an intern for JK Films.
Yeah, but that was my assumption because then he was saying, oh, cool, you got the internship position. And I was like, dope. But then he did tell me that he was going to train me on how to become an intern for JK or like to...
Which doesn't exist. There isn't a pre-training program to become an intern for JK. So literally what this fool was doing is that he thought she was super fucking cute and he wanted to be around her. So he lied to her and told her that she could be an intern for JK without telling Bart and Joe. I thought that shit was it's kind of cute, but it's fucking hilarious, dude. It's like, bro, what the fuck were you thinking?
So the first time I met Joe and Tiff was at oh my god, a wax shoot. And it was featuring Asian mom in there, Joe, right? And so I remember I walked in on set and I went up to Joe. I was like, hey Joe, I'm Julia, I'm your new intern. And then Joe was like, you could see for like a split second Joe was like, what the fuck? And then he was like, oh yeah, cool, nice to meet you.
That's
and he like played it off really well, but then I was just like, okay, that's a little weird. And
so he didn't know who you were at all.
No, he didn't. And then like, I mean, and so then like I think they had a talk with Tommy, and then like I guess things were kind of like clarified, and then like they kind of brought me on to like their shoots just to see like how well I do and how well I fit in, and what my work ethic was like. And then over time they're like, okay, this chick's cool. She's not like somebody that just here because, you know, she's like a huge fan. It's just that, you know, she's here because she likes what we do. And
you were a blessing in disguise, dude.
Yeah.
And it kind of really worked out well for Tommy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that dude was just trying to get with you. That's it.
Right,
Like that dude just thought you were super fucking cute, and he wanted to have you around, but he was too nervous or shy or too much of a puss to say, hey, I think you're cute, let's go out on a date, which really wouldn't have been much, you know? And so the only thing he could do is just have you around by saying, oh, well, this girl is interested in JK, so I'm going to use this to keep her around, and then maybe I'll slide in that, hey, maybe we should be together type of shit.
Right.
And guess what, bitches? It fucking worked, because they did go out for like a couple years.
We did.
Fucking Tommy worked that fucking dweeb game in, homie. That shit was tight. Tommy, you son of a fucking bitch. You better explain yourself on this podcast when I bring you on here, dude.
Dude, when is he coming on? That would be amazing.
I'm gonna hit him up and I'm gonna tell him to come on, man. Because I need him to explain that story. That shit is so fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this dude talking about, dude? That shit cracked me up.
Dude, I remember when I first met him, it was at the 626 night market. That's when I asked him if like JK was looking for interns in production. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I went up to him and be like, oh, hey, are you Tommy from JK? And then he was like, oh, yeah, you're... And I was like, you don't know me. I'm just a fan. So he like kind of played it off as like he knew who I was. But
of course, Tommy.
But he didn't. So, yeah.
What a fucking goofy ass guy, dude.
Yeah.
But hey, it fucking worked though. You guys went out for almost two fucking years.
Yeah.
Was he your first like serious relationship?
He was my longest one, yeah. Because there was one guy that was in college that I dated for maybe 2 weeks or so.
2 weeks?
It was really short because we worked together at the Brazilian steakhouse. Oh. And he was like, I think he might have been like 2 years younger than me.
Oh, you little cradle robber, dude! You like that? You like that baby dick?
He
dude.
Was cute. He was cute. He was a breakdancer, but I think at the time, like when I was dating him and when I was getting to know him, like all he could talk about was one of his best friends, and I was like, damn, dude, this guy's head over heels for his best friend. And so like,
you talking about a girl that's his best friend?
Yeah, a girl that's his best friend, right? And then like, but I mean, like to me, I was just like, you know, are you sure you don't want to like talk to her? You know, maybe there is something there. And he's like, no, there isn't. And I was like,
what a fucking weirdo, dude.
But then he wasn't saying that to like keep me around. It was just, I think he was really trying to move on from her because maybe he was hung up on her for too long or whatever. And so I was just like, oh, okay. So we were like dating for a week. And I just remember telling him, I was like, hey, full on disclaimer, like if there's a point where you're not interested in dating me, just tell me. Like, I'm not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, like I'd rather not waste your time and I'd rather not have my time wasted. So if the moment you start questioning whether you want to date me or not, I feel like that's already a bad sign. So we should probably end it, right?
Yeah.
And so first week was cool. Second week was a little weird. Not quite sure what exactly happened, but I think he started having thoughts and like kind of doubts about like us dating. And then I was just like, okay. So then I messaged him. I was like, hey, let's talk. Like we should talk, right? I have a feeling that something's really off. And I was like stressing a lot about it too, right? And he was just like, yeah, I don't know if like I can continue to do this. And I was like, okay, cool. So why didn't you
tell me that when I fucking told you, you little dumb bitch?
And then I was like, well, how long did you feel that way? He was like, after the first week. And I was like, why didn't you fucking tell me? And I was like, oh my God. And then like, so I wasn't hurt about the fact that like he wasn't interested in dating me.
Yeah.
I was more hurt about, I was like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? What did I do wrong in the sense of like I laid it out there for you. Yeah. I try to make it as hands off as possible. You know, like if you weren't interested, you could have just said so.
How old was he at the time and how old were you?
I think I was 22 at the time, and I think he was 20.
Oh, he's a child, dude. That's what young kids do.
Right.
You know?
So I mean, so at the time it was just like I was more angry at the fact of I was like, he couldn't even like tell me like that he wasn't interested, right? Versus like, because I think he was too afraid of hurting my feelings, and I think that's what got me frustrated. Because I was like, bro, I already told you up front.
Yeah, but you know when you're a young person too, you don't really know what to do. And I think like a lot of the times at a young age, confrontation is something that kids run away from. Oh, you know what? I take that back. Not even kids. people in general.
Me.
Like adults, people don't like confrontation, which is actually a decent attribute to have. And what I mean by that is like, you kind of pick and choose your battles a lot, right? But some people, they run away from confrontation so much that they just rather let things fester and get worse and worse and worse until it blows up in their fucking face. So it was actually a good thing you actually contacted him and you were very straightforward about it.
Right.
Because if not, that would have dragged on for like 4 months or some shit.
I mean, it was stressing me out because I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. Like, what's happening? What is he feeling? What am I feeling? It was just a whole bunch of like emotional like stress that I didn't want in my life. And I was like, okay, this needs to end right now. Like,
that's so interesting.
Yeah. And then people at work were like, oh, so you guys aren't dating anymore? And I was just like, no. I was like, oh, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And
yeah,
like,
I'm okay, homie. The fuck?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get some fresh dick. Y'all ever heard about that fresh Ziploc dick? Take that fucking penis straight out that Ziploc, homie.
Yeah.
Shit. Oops, I should stop banging this table so much. But that's so interesting. So you worked at a Brazilian restaurant. You were a waitress, and then you kind of fell into the whole JK thing, which, by the way, is not an easy task to do because I think like the world that you came from is so different from this world. Like this world is all about your destiny is literally in your hands.
Yes.
Even like specifically working for this company, it's not so clear cut, right?
Yeah.
So the great thing about like working for JK and for a lot of people who have been in this company from the beginning, and you know this too, it's like opportunity is always there.
Right.
You just have to be a strong enough individual to voice your opinions and take those opportunities, right? Which is very different from corporate world, right? Corporate world, like I feel like sometimes like there are steps that people let you know that this is your limit, that this is what you can go to. You have to push towards it. But with JK, it's more like, hey, I feel like I could do this for the channel or do this for the company. I want to create this position. Can I do it? You just have to be a strong enough individual to mention it.
Right.
And that's like a good and bad thing because you have to be responsible enough to control your destiny, right? Because even for you, and a lot of people started wondering this, is like when you started doing JK News, after a while you disappeared, which I don't that wasn't even fully explained to me either. I just remember that number one, it was either becoming difficult for you or there was something, I don't know what it was, but then you chose to go a different path and then it wasn't a right fit.
Yeah,
right? Because it was what was it very stressful for you or?
Yeah, I mean it was a whole bunch of things. So like what is it? Okay, so JK News was happening around the time that I was interning, and it was still pretty new. And when I sat in, I was literally filling in for the previous host, and then soon I became a full-time host. And I didn't actually expect myself to be a host at the time because literally my goal in there was to learn about production work and to mainly stay behind cameras, right? And so when I was
to bang the table so much.
Sorry. And so when I was asked to be like, hey, can you host? Because you know you've done a couple and you've done a few and you did pretty well. And I was like, oh, sure. If you need someone to fill in the spot, I'll do it. And so I did the hosting for a while, and then I remember like hosting got really crazy. So instead of 10 article days, it was 15, and then became 15 to 20, and then after 20 it became 40, and then I think at one point it was like 60. I think we were considering 80. I don't remember if we did it or if we did it one day, but yeah, I remember 60 being like a lot of articles in one day. And you were there. We were there for a really long time, from like 9 a.m. all the way till 12 midnight, right? Yeah. And so I think me doing that so often, I think it just, I don't know, like I think it just got to me to the point where I felt like my hosting skills plateaued, and that I and it wasn't something I was interested in either, right? Like I never wanted to be a host of any talk show. I didn't want to be a host of like
because you wanted to be in
particular,
the production side of things.
Yeah,
is what you wanted.
Right. So then, like to me, I was just like, okay, well, I feel like these are my limits as a host, and I plateaued. And at that time, like Tiff was also transitioning into, and like she was hosting as well. And then seeing her host was making me think like, okay, I think Tiff is actually a better fit than I am, right? In this, and I think like over time, I felt like there was so much stress going into the news articles because we had to find a certain amount every week, and if we didn't, it kind of felt like a failure, at least for me on my end, right? And so there was a lot of anxiety that went into it because it was just like, fuck, there's not any like good articles out right now, and there's not any like lighthearted ones because right now, like in that time, that world was miserable, right? And so I personally felt like I was struggling in trying to make something work that wasn't working for me necessarily.
Yeah.
And so I think with all that anxiety building up and then filming on the day of and then forgetting all the information, or like the notes that I took weren't like helpful notes, or like maybe mispronouncing things or stuttering a lot, right? Like all those little things started like getting to me. And then like it didn't, like, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't help when I saw like really negative comments.
Yeah.
Just remembering that feeling. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, I think with that in the combination of me knowing that I didn't really necessarily started out wanting to be a host, it really got to me and it really affected me. And so it was really hard too, because I didn't really want to let the team down. In the sense I was like, well, I've been working on this for so long. It's like, why can't I improve? Or what is wrong with me? Like, why did I hit this plateau that I'm not quite sure that happened? And so at that time I was like, okay, 1, I'm getting really stressed. 2, I'm getting a lot of anxiety.
You weren't happy.
Yeah. And then the next part was like, I want to continue to be on the show to help further it, but I felt it got so bad to the point where I started getting anxiety, where I felt like people would literally click away. Like, maybe it's a narcissistic thought, but it was just like, there were comments where people were saying like, oh, I see Julia, I click away. And to me, I was like, fuck, dude, I don't want the business to go down because of me and how sucky my hosting skills are.
Yeah.
And so, or like how my hosting skills became over time. And so, because of that, like, I just felt my condition getting worse as time went on. And I didn't really want to be a dead horse anymore, in a sense, at least for me, right? And it's like, and I think it's just like a lot of it has to do with my mental perspective, right? And at that time, it wasn't very good. And so I felt like it was best for me to step away from JKNews than to continue on with it, not knowing what exactly to do. So,
it's so hard. And, that's the thing, like, and it's hard because I could tell you as much as I want, like, the people who leave those comments are trash human beings, but sometimes it just doesn't fucking matter. Like, especially when you're already going through so much fucking shit. Number one, like, being a part of something like JKNews is not easy. Everybody thinks that they can do it. Everybody thinks that, oh, if we could bring up an article, we could talk about it too and just do it. And it's like, well, if people could have done it, they would have done it by now.
Right.
They really would have, because, I mean, just to put it in perspective for people, like I always tell people when they listen to JKNews, number one, we are not a fucking news source. It's about conversation and jokes and friends just talking. The news article is just a thought and the subject for us to bounce our own ideas off of.
Right.
That's it. That's why it's called Just Kidding News. The fucking company's called Just Kidding, you fucking fucks.
Yeah.
Right? But the people who are leaving these comments, they do it because they want to get a reaction out of you.
Right. And like there's some comments where I do take as actual critique, where it's just like, maybe you should remind yourself to put something like this in the notes, or like maybe try to do tongue twisters so that you won't stutter as much. Like things like that are like helpful things, or it's just like things like maybe you should, I don't fucking remember, but it's just like there's some that were actually good advice that like I would try to like apply into my hosting, but like other ones were just like pure hate, and I was like, fuck, am I making the show worse?
You never made the show worse. It's just that these people, and also too, even when people give critique and advice about something, you haven't done it. You are not in that position. So how the fuck are you to ask? Like they're like, okay, try this tongue twister. Bitch, have you fucking done 60 fucking articles a day? Have you tried to memorize 60 articles with over 100 people and 100 stories in one fucking day?
Yeah.
Have you tried that? I guarantee you haven't. And on top of that, too, performing to camera, doing this with a 1 hour break in between. And what people don't know, when we were fucking filming from 9 fucking a.m. till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
That's how much we were working. We were brain dead and blasted. And the next day, we had to pick up and do our other projects too, filming, whatever that it was. It was not easy. It was hard. And there was a certain point where we were doing so many articles, we were doing that twice a fucking week.
Yeah.
And everybody's, oh, that's just once a week. Have you tried talking and just trying to be funny and entertaining for fucking like 14 hours straight?
Yeah.
It is not easy. And so when people like write these things and these advice, like sometimes it comes from a very good place.
Right.
Completely understandable.
Right.
Even for my channel, I say, hey, can you guys let me know what you think about these upload times? That's where stuff like your opinions really matter, right? But when somebody comes up and they look at your job and your position and say, this is what you could do to make it better. It's like, cool. You are not somebody who's in that position to tell me how to make it better.
Right.
Like for me, when I did stand-up comedy, I asked comics how to make my stand-up better.
Right.
Right? Because they do it. They understand. They understand what the give and take is when you go up. You're holding a mic. You're performing. How to make jokes hit. How to pace yourself.
Right.
Those are the things that matter the most. And you know, to your credit too, it's just fucking hard. Like number one, you're stressed the fuck out. So these small little things, it's just the last straw on the camel's hump that's just gonna fucking break you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's just I didn't know like how much you were going through, just because for me when it comes to JK News, that's just the part that I played. Right. And so afterwards, I had to go deal with my own shit, you know. So for me, I thought things were going great. I thought things were perfectly fine.
Oh, I mean, like, for the most part, like, I try not to have so much negative feelings about JK News. It was just more of like, all right, well, my chapter here is done at JK News. I think I've come to a place where I felt like I've helped the channel enough to the best of my abilities.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I helped it get it running up to the point that it was. And I think in terms of the way that I host, I think I don't feel like necessarily I want to improve on that in like the JK News setting, right?
Which is great.
Right.
Like you came to that conclusion on your own, which is awesome.
Right. And so like I've literally mentally prepared myself and talked myself through it, where it was like, it's not your fault.
It isn't. It isn't your fault.
But it's just like it's so hard because I feel like I've always grown up with that feeling of like, oh, it's your fault if you can't complete something. And so to me, it took a while for me to be okay and say like, hey, it's not your fault. It's cool. Like you've worked really hard and you've got to JK News up to this point. And literally, like, I think it's okay to walk away because you're unhappy. Yeah. And so I literally had a talk with Tiff and I asked her if she would be okay to take the workload of the other half of the articles. And she said, yeah, like she was down and she seemed excited about it. And I was like, great, because I think, I was like, I can't do it. And I think you're a great host for it. And I think you're a better fit for it too. And then talked to Bart and Joe about it. And like, they thought that like I wanted to be on news because I enjoyed it and I continued to stay. They didn't know that I did it because I was filling in a position. And like, look, I'm not gonna lie, like JK News was fun. Yeah, like it was fun. Like if I could stay, like sure, right? But then a part of me just feels like, but I don't know if I really necessarily fit that branding because I feel like my opinions are very neutral. Like I don't necessarily lean on one side or the other. It's just more of like, to me, it's like I like to see both sides. And then I'm just like, okay, like I see your point. Like you go here, you go here. To me, it's like I feel like it's case by case. Yeah. Right. So,
like, yeah, and that's anything in comedy or when it comes to like content like that. People don't get it. It's like, well, why can't you just stay neutral on things? Because if we stay neutral on things, you wouldn't want to fucking watch us. That's how that's how comedy is. Right. You make a point, you stick fucking to it, and you find the humor in it. Right. And so this is where I see a lot of comics fail. They're like, well, I don't want to offend people, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. You have to be socially smart about the content that you put out, 100%. But you can't be wishy-washy about your shit. Yeah. You know, and that's not easy for a lot of people. Right. It's actually very difficult. I mean, to your credit, what I really do enjoy is that you actually figured out like, hey, this isn't for me. And you figured out a way to remove yourself from something that wasn't making you happy, which is hard. Because the hard part about that is that sometimes, like I think in your case specifically because of your upbringing and how I was like brought up too, is that when we move away from this, it's not like, oh, I'm doing this because it's better for me. You almost feel selfish sometimes. You feel like I'm doing this for myself and I'm letting this team down. Right. And so it hurts because now you feel like I'm being a selfish human being because I should be thinking about the team, and because I haven't, and because I failed, everybody else has to suffer. Right. But that wasn't the case, you know, and it's just hard to move away from that thought sometimes because number one, you are a team player and you've always been a great team player.
Thank you.
You know, Thank you. You know, like, so what people don't know about Julia too, when I was doing a lot of, Julia actually used to produce for me. So for a few sketches.
That was wild, dude.
Yeah, that was fun. You did a really great job.
I remember I bought a lot of shit and I returned a lot of shit.
That's how fucking gangster it is, baby. That's how broke we were, homie. You know, but you know, everybody has to figure out their strengths. Yeah. And that's a good thing. You know, even for me too, you know, how I can relate to this is that I always tell people to, it's something that I used to do when I was younger. I used to look, it's kind of like that saying of like, you look at what somebody else has, but you forget to see what you have. Right? So like for me, the reason why I decided to not do music as much and do comedy is because I kept on looking at music as something like, oh, I could still do it, but it wasn't making me happy. That wasn't fun for it anymore. But because I felt like I had the skill for it and then people wanted to see it, I kept on putting on this pressure that I still should continue to do music constantly.
Right.
But what I had to realize about music is like, for me and my ability as a musician, unless I dive into it 1,000,000,000%, I'm just always going to be a mediocre musician.
Yeah.
And I'm only doing it because I feel like I'm failing.
Right.
And that's a terrible way to pursue an art.
Yeah, that's how I felt like in my college days. Because my program was 5 years long and I studied animation. And so I was learning how to draw in traditional, like so 2D animation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until my last year of college when I realized that I didn't necessarily want to do that per se. Like I like animation. I still want to be somewhere a part of entertainment in that area. But like if young Julia had did a little bit more research, the position that I wanted to be in was somewhere in production, like whether it be like production management or whatever in animation, right? And because like I only realized this because I went out to like this art club hangout thing that was happening at downtown Disney or someplace, and we were all hanging out, and there's this one guy from Fullerton. He was telling me that he was interning at this one animation studio and he was doing production work, and I asked him what that was, and he was like, oh, you just file papers and you communicate in between teams, and you talk to them about things, and you try to piece things together to get things done. Immediately in my head, I was like, wow, that sounds really fun.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, cool. How do you like it? And he's like, oh, it's just really boring. And I was like, yeah, sounds boring. And then he was like, yeah, I mean, like whoever wants to do that, right? And I was like, yeah, that's so boring for an animator. And so at that time, it really opened up my eyes where I was just like, oh, fuck. Like, I know I have the skill set to be an animator, but I don't really find any fulfillment in my own artwork or in my own creation.
Yeah, like you appreciate the art.
Right.
But it's not so much in the sense of like, oh, I can't see myself doing the art part for the rest of my life though.
Like I think if I were to do the art part for the rest of my life, I would literally have to be like a follower. But if you want me to be creative in something, like I feel like that's the portion of me where I feel like I lack a lot. And it's like, I know that I can probably...
A lot of artists are like that.
I can probably practice to be creative, but I think for me, it's like...
You just didn't love enough to do that either.
Yeah, I didn't. And so I think I personally found a lot more joy in pushing people to get their projects done, and seeing that result, seeing them happy made me happy. So with that in mind, I was like, man, maybe I should go into production. So in my last year, I just finished up with animation, and then that's when I started.
But you're great at production, though. Like production is not an easy job. It is. Thanks. Production is fucking hard, man. Like, I think when people, if you guys don't know anything about producers, but we work on it on a smaller scale. But my biggest thing that I love about producers, like, no is not an answer. There's not an option.
Yeah.
And if you have a producer that works for you and they say that they're a producer, they come back with nothing, they're fucking trash.
Yeah.
Don't ever come back with nothing. You come back with fucking options. If we want a certain prop that's there that's just impossible to get, then you come back with 17 other fucking options that we can choose from. Because whether or not you provide it or not, we still have to shoot. We have to keep on moving on.
Right.
So preparation is a big key. That's why there's coordinators, there's producers, there's assistant producers, there's all these other stuff that this back end that requires like film or any type of project to be done. Producers are like the backbone of this shit, which is a very fucking difficult job. And it's hard, man. Like, I completely understand where you're coming from these comments, because like, even for me, it's not like I don't get affected by comments. It's just, I have an ability just to laugh at it. It's like, you fucking piece of shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's some that I'm able to laugh at.
Yeah. It's just, most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people don't. Most people take everything to heart. I get irritated at comments all the fucking time. It's like, who the fuck are you trash bag? Like, I immediately think that. But 2019 David So says that we're only going to respond to positive comments, or if I do respond to negativity, I'm going to respond to it in a decent manner. Because before, I would just trash people. And, the problem that I had with that, it was developing a bad habit where I would trash people, not because I'm angry, it's because it would make me smile to make somebody upset. So I was becoming a troll. I was becoming the thing I hated the most.
Right.
I was like, oh shit, I'm trolling the troll now.
Yeah,
what am I doing? I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing something that I say that I hate that other people do. So I was being a hypocrite. But that's why I'm trying not to do it to the best of my fucking ability.
Oh, I see.
I'm trying my best.
So how's it looking for 2019 now?
It's very hard. It's very hard. Like I feel it bubbling inside me. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna trash this fucking living germ. Like I'm going to literally find this. Like sometimes I think like I can't wait. I had this dream once,
right,
where I for some reason had the ability. So when somebody would leave a comment, like I had connections to like the FBI and they could find where they live. And I showed up to a house and I literally beat the shit out of like a 14-year-old kid.
Are you serious?
But the kid was huge though. He was big. He was like huge.
How old were you?
I was my age. So as a 30-year-old man, I beat the shit out of a 14-year-old. And I'll tell you this, I woke up very satisfied. And after I beat his ass, in the dream, their parents said, thank you. One of the best dreams ever, dude. Beating up 14-year-olds. Woo! Feel fucking good. That fool was so fucking defenseless. And he was my size. So I didn't feel so bad pummeling the living fucking shit out of him.
Oh my God.
I dream about the fucking dumbest things. That was so satisfying.
Wow, I think your body is really trying hard to suppress you from like verbally saying it out loud in public, and so it's taking it out in your dreams.
I know. I'm also trying to, I curse a lot, but I'm trying to reduce it by like 50%.
Okay.
Not because I have anything wrong against cursing. I feel like it's my fallback too much now.
Yeah.
And it's just becoming too fluid. Like I'm not picking and choosing when I'm using it. It's just becoming too much of a part of my vernacular.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, pick and choose your cursing now, David, because now you're just cursing all the damn time. And Mariel hates it, dude. Mariel is just like the sweetest fucking girl that I know.
I love her.
So when I curse, it hurts her feelings. And when I see her cringe, I'm like, it makes me feel bad, dude. I don't know why she chose me out of all people. Like, it's so funny because the qualities that she wants to see in a good person, I don't have. Like, I don't have those qualities.
But then, so then, what qualities of Mariel do you like that make you?
Oh, she has all the qualities that I like.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I mean, but sometimes I feel like I don't have the qualities she wants. You know what I mean?
I see.
But it's because I make her happy. So that's like the over-scoping thing. It's like, okay, he makes me happy. He's a good person.
Right.
You know, because she sees all the best qualities in me and she sees the worst.
Right.
It's just sometimes the worst qualities are very glaring. Like it's just in her face all the time.
I remember the first time I met her.
I was there when
I was producing a skit for you.
I hit on that girl with a fucking fierceness.
Dude, I saw all these heart beams hitting at her and I just see them bounce off of her.
You know, out of all the JK people, nobody has ever seen me flirt with a girl except for you.
Wow, I'm honored. I'm honored because I just remember like...
I'm very aggressive.
I remember I was watching you and I was like, huh. I was like... At that time too, I was still kind of getting to know you. So I was just like... I don't know if David's natural like that, but I just feel like it's a little extra.
Yeah, but because like I'm a very friendly person, right?
Yeah, you are.
So I'm super friendly, but I'm friendly in a platonic way.
Right.
When I flirt, it's different. Like you could tell there's a difference. You know what I mean?
Dude, I remember I was in the bathroom with Mariel and I was trying to fix up her hair and then you
I was
came
trying to say,
in.
what's up? Dude,
I know,
what's
you
up?
popped in, you said, what's up? And then you poked her a few times and she like smacked you a few times and she's like, get the fuck out of here. Well, she didn't say fuck, but she's like, get out of here.
Yeah, she was trying to play. She liked me. I don't give a fuck. She liked me. But that's when I decided to really pursue her. And you know, at that time too, I wasn't thinking about getting with anybody else. Like I was planning to stay single until this age. This is the age that I said I was going to start dating, 30.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I just didn't have an interest in being with anybody at the time.
So then what made you go for her at that time? Like, was it love at first sight or
it wasn't
what was
love at first sight. It was just, I always had this thought of why the fuck not? Right? So why lose an opportunity because you put the barrier or the boundary in your head that you were only going to date when you're 30? What kind of stupid construct is that? If you see somebody that you're attracted to and you feel something, then give it a go.
She gave you butterflies when you first saw her?
I don't know if it was butterflies because that was the second time I met her. The first time I met her was actually, I have the footage of it. There's a clip of it.
Yeah.
And she and I, like, I was working on set, so she was a PA.
Yeah.
And so, when I'm working, I'm just working.
Yeah.
And then, but this time I didn't have to direct or I didn't have to do any of that stuff. Somebody else got to direct and they were taking control. So I could just be more myself. And then I saw her and she was super funny. She was very fun to have around and I thought she was really cute. And then, lo and behold, 4 years later, we're together.
How cute! I am honored to have witnessed the very beggings.
Yeah,
of
you're
your
the only
relationship.
person in JK that actually has seen me pursue a girl.
Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, because usually, because if I'm around you guys, I'm just around you guys. So I'm just David,
Right.
But obviously, like, I don't think nobody's ever seen me like flirt with a girl or even like just not be goofy David, because usually I'm just goofy David. I'm not really, I'm not very hypersexual. I'm just like always joking around, having fun. I'm very like mother hen like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like that I call myself mother hen. I give mother hen hugs. Like I'm always like comforting, but with her it was different. I'm like, what's up, dude?
I think I was there both times, when she was a PA and when she was actually
actress.
starring.
Yeah.
I was there both times.
Oh, you were producing that one too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Because it was Kim Jong-il with Art and Chow. That was the first time I saw her.
You did a great job at that too.
Thank you. And then it was the other one with Just Do It, right?
Yeah, those were some good times.
Those were so good.
That's when YouTube was really fun.
Yeah, it was.
And I still love doing like the podcast is amazing, man, because I get to know more about your story, and then this is just a way for me to like reconnect with people.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was dope. I felt like, I'm very thankful for the opportunity you gave me to produce your stuff, because I think at that time you were still kind of trying to collect your team together. Yeah. At the time, but you also knew that I was interning, so it was just like, I don't know what made you decide to take a shot at me to take a shot.
I just saw you work with JK, and then for me, I like building teams together. Yeah. So there are a lot of people that I have worked that are great at what they do, but they don't take instruction very well. Oh, I see. And so I'm a very particular human being. Right. I'm very particular. Like
you were. I remember there was one time you wanted me to find a Korean actress or some actress that spoke Korean. Yeah. And I was like, can't you just teach her the lines? And you were like, no, she needs to be able to speak. And I was like, fuck. Yeah. And like I remember I kept coming back at you with it, and you're like, does she speak Korean? I'm like, no. And then he was like, then no. And I was like, ah. Yeah. And I just remember I got frustrated. I was like, fuck, dude. I wonder if David's getting frustrated at me because I'm bringing all these actresses that aren't Korean. Yeah.
Well, the thing about me too, I'm very straightforward. So if I was like upset or frustrated, I would tell you like, hey, you're frustrating me.
Oh, I see.
But if I don't say it, that's why I always tell people like, unless I fucking tell you like, hey, I'm upset. Yeah. Or I verbally, there has to be a verbal note to it, because I don't want people to be up in the air about how I feel about them. Right. Yeah, I might be a little like, feel a little weird, but it's nothing that I'm angry or upset about. If I'm angry, I'll take somebody aside. It's like, hey, like there's something off between us right now. I see. Yeah. But when does that ever happen? I actually don't get angry like that often. Right. Like if I get angry, it's because I did something stupid.
Oh, I see.
It's not because somebody else. Like my friends rarely. I don't think anybody in JK has ever gotten me mad once.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nobody has ever made me angry in JK.
That's good.
There's no reason to. It's a friendly working environment, and the great thing about our friendship that I have, especially with like Bart and Joe and them, it's like I think we just sometimes when we fuck up, it's just a fuck up. Right. And we just move on. Like it's what's the big deal? If it's a big deal, then we'll talk about it. And I probably fucked up multiple times, but they probably just gave me a pass. Right. But just maybe I'm just the one that I'm just like, I'm never angry at these guys. I'm pretty sure I fuck up a lot though. But yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. Like I didn't know I didn't know the whole JKNews things and how much like you were dealing with at that time. That's so much to deal with. Like being on social media is such a big beast to deal with. Like emotionally, it's so fucking hard. Yeah,
I think around that time too, it was really hard for me to post just because I was like, dude, I need something that I can hold on to that I feel like is me. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good thing though. Like I'm so glad that you figured out what you wanted.
Thanks.
So what's your next step then?
So currently right now I'm actually producing JK Party with Brandon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so there's actually going to be some exciting things happening. Like we have a plan that we want to achieve, and I think hopefully later down the line, don't hold me to it, but we are going to try really hard to try to make 5 videos out on that channel a week.
Instead of y'all are fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome though.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. And then like me and Brandon, we have like a 50-50 partnership, so it just feels like
it's like
an equal
chemistry.
Yeah, it's like an equal amount. Yeah.
And something that you get to do that you enjoy, which is producing.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Dude, JK Party, man. All right, well.
are you gonna come on? Like, what about Mafia games?
I hate
What about
JK
Mafia?
Party.
What about Mafia?
I don't hate JK Party, the channel. I like watching it. I don't like being in it.
Why not?
I don't like games. I don't like board games. I don't like any of that shit. Never did.
What is there a game that you do enjoy?
Absolutely not. I hate games like that. It's
all games.
I don't know what it is. It's just so I don't want to say it's not corny. It's more like I didn't grow up with it, so I don't have an attachment to the games like that. Like the stuff that I like is basketball, Muay Thai. These are games that I enjoy.
So then if we decide to have a basketball tournament on
JK
fuck
yeah. Like if you do a JK Party outdoors, football, basketball, I'm 100% down.
Okay.
But if it's like board games, Mafia and stuff, like I introduced Mafia to you guys. Right. And that was like a fun church game. Yeah. And then we played it so much, I got tired of it. You know, and like I just don't. Maybe, and that's also because like I don't know. I've never really liked board games, man.
Okay, then what about Cards Against Humanity? People love doing it.
That's a card board game. I don't like that shit.
You don't like it, but you get to talk shit about people.
Nah,
Same with Drunk, Stoned, and Stupid.
I don't like that shit either.
Wow. You guys hear it here first, you know, right? You guys want David So to be on JKP all the time. This is the answer that I get all the time.
That's fucking crazy. Well, people could try to get. They wanted me to keep this channel sketches and shit. I still didn't do it. So
no, I'm just saying this is the inside scoop. You know the reason why David's not on all the time.
Yeah, like JK Party is not my damn thing. Like it's not something I enjoy, and that's like another thing that I think that I got to learn how to do is just if I don't enjoy it, just don't do it. You know,
that's good.
Like I like JK Party the channel. I think it's a dope channel. It's super entertaining to watch.
What if we had food ones? What if we decide to invite Send Foods onto JK Party?
Maybe.
I mean, Tim already came on. I mean, it's just a matter of time of you and Tim together.
I'll think about it. We'll see. If I'm in the mood, I'll hit you guys up.
Fine.
I'll text you guys and be like, hey, let's get me on a JK Party. I feel like
What about like a nice friendly text every like 3 months?
You guys could try. You could fucking try. Yeah. Well, where can everybody find you at, Julia?
What at you mean for like
Instagram?
Yeah, on my Instagram it's called X Blue Apples with a Z at the end.
Tight, complicated.
It's a name that I've kept for like many years, so I'm going to continue to keep it for many years and not change it to my actual name.
There it is.
Thank you.
So find her on Instagram.
Oh
Julia.
yeah, my YouTube too. It's been active.
Get the fuck out of here. You're active on your YouTube?
Hello, yes.
Yo, let me tell you something about this girl.
I've been active since last December. No.
Hold on a second. Yo, let me just say this shit real quick, dude. The reason why I don't believe this fucking bullshit, she recorded stuff when we went to Japan together 4 years ago, and it still isn't released.
No, it's released.
All of them?
There's the last one's coming out this Friday. Today, actually.
Oh, great job. 4 years is all it took.
Yeah,
so
4
this
years.
is why I don't fucking believe her, dude. You want to talk about somebody, about false promises. You are a bringer of lies. How dare you?
Thanks, David. You know, I'm not a perfect human being. You know, I try to set these goals up and I try to meet them. But if I don't meet them, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I've
trash
tried.
now.
I've tried, but you know, I worked something out. I figured something out that worked for me. I got an editor, and he just edits my stuff, so I don't have to look at my face.
That's perfect. So check her out on her YouTube, which is the same as her Instagram.
Yes, X Blue Apples with a Z at the end.
Enjoy that. See her daily life. Julia is one of my favorite people in JK. I've always connected to this girl on some weird fucking level. One time though, I mean, we should end this, but there's so many things to talk about with her, dude. One time, she just came over just to chill for a second and eat, and then we watched the whole anime series till 12 a.m. together. Yeah,
that was insane, and I still don't even understand that anime. But
it was so trippy, dude. It was called Devilman Crybaby, which is it was a remake of it, and it's so fucking trippy. The animation's trippy as fuck too, and it's just like on some other level shit. But we literally watched the whole series together in one fucking stint.
Yeah, because it ended. Every episode ended in a way where you're like, wait, what? What the fuck? What's happening now?
It was so, there's like titties in it and shit. It's such a weird, but it's not, it's sexual, but it's not. Like, it's so weird, man. And people shit on anime because they think it's for like geeks and nerds. You're completely wrong. There's so much artistry, story that film steals from all the fucking time. You want to talk about composition and lighting? See what they do when they do these 2D animations, dude. It all comes based off of like real life shit. It's fucking amazing, man. Shout outs to fucking anime people who watch that stuff. If you don't watch it, you think it's whack as fuck, you can go lay in front of a car.
A great anime to get you guys started to watch is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I like both. You didn't like the other one? The original?
The other one's okay, but Brotherhood...
Okay, it's good.
Brotherhood is the actual storyline.
Well, you're talking about the first one or the second one?
Brotherhood is the second animated series.
The first one was so fucking good, though. It was darker.
In a way it was darker. Yeah, in a way it was darker.
Like how it ended in the first one, it tore my heart up, dude. Oh. It made me so sad. And I liked that, too. It was so dark, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I like really dark shit. It makes you think a lot. But the second one, the animation was great too.
Yeah. But I like the story in the second one better because
it definitely made more sense.
Yeah.
It was easier to understand for sure.
Yes. So I would highly recommend Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And for me, if you guys like this it has nothing to do with like fantasy and shit, but this is a short. I like short series a lot. I don't like extended stuff, which is why Full Metal Alchemist is great.
Right.
Watch Erased.
Oh, I heard that was really good.
One of my top 3 favorite short series ever.
Did you watch Cowboy Bebop?
I like Cowboy Bebop.
Me too.
It was great. That's also a classic.
Yeah.
But Erased is one of those things that I fucking loved. It was so good.
One of my favorite movies is Princess Mononoke.
Oh.
From Studio Ghibli. Oh my god.
Love Princess Mononoke.
It's gory. It's a little bit gory, but oh my god, it's amazing. Dude, it's beautiful.
That shit was all drawn by hand.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
People don't understand. People fucking shit on 2D animation and it's a dying art right now because everybody likes 3D.
Yeah.
2D is an art form that's amazing. There's something that it captures that a lot of people, that you can't capture in 3D. I don't know what it is.
Without 2D animation, there will be no 3D animation.
Yeah.
That's
Think about it.
what it is.
It's fucking amazing, man. Support your 2D fucking animation out there because once that art form dies, I'm going to die.
Me too. Yeah. Me too.
I'm going to die, man.
Yeah.
I love that shit. All right, y'all. That was this episode of Genius Brain Podcast. Remember, you could see us on iTunes, Spotify, Castbox, all these different audio platforms. If you're watching this on the YouTubes and the videos, give us the thumbs up and then leave in the comments below about the stuff that you want to see and like, man. Thank you, Julia, for coming in. I fucking love you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I love you so much.
Have me on again.
Dude, anytime. Dude, you could come on every fucking time.
Oh, wow. Really?
All right, y'all. Peace.
Bye.